There are 6 of you in the photo. It is the last day of school, and someone's mom is holding a disposable camera, and you are all squinting into the same sun. Same town, same parking lot you have stood in 1,000 times. Same future, more or less, because nobody in the photo owns anything yet. Nobody is ahead, nobody is behind. You will all swear you'll stay close, and for a while, you will mean it. Reese is in the middle, because Reese is always in the middle. He's the one everyone bets on, the funny one, the quick one, the one teacher said would do something. If you had to put money on which of the 6 gets rich, you would not pick yourself. Nobody would pick you. You're the quiet one near the edge. The photo gets printed once and lives in a drawer for 20 years. None of you know it is a starting line. You are 22. Your first real paycheck clears at $3,100 after tax, and you stare at it like it's a fortune, which it isn't, not yet. Reese got a job that pays almost exactly the same. So did Sam. So did 2 of the others. You were all within a few $100s of each other, which is to say, you were all the same. This is the part nobody tells you about getting rich faster than the people you grew up with. At the start, there is no money gap. There is only a decision gap. And a decision is invisible. It doesn't show up in a parking lot. It doesn't show up in a photo. It happens once, quietly, where no one is watching. And then it keeps happening for the rest of your life, whether you remember making it or not. You find it on a Tuesday night on your couch, a compounding calculator. You type in $500 a month at 7% starting now, and you scroll down to age 40. And the number is larger than you expected. So you do the thing everyone does. You assume it's broken. You type it again. It isn't broken. You change the inputs. You make the contribution bigger. You start it sooner. You run it a 3rd time, and you sit with the result in the dark. You don't call anyone. You don't post anything. You open a Roth IRA before you go to bed, and you put in $300. And that $300 is the first money in your life that was not traded for an hour of it. Reese spends his Tuesday the way Reese spends every Tuesday, and there is nothing wrong with how he spends it. That is the part that will sit underneath this whole story. He didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't do the thing you did, alone, on a couch, where nobody could see. You are 26. The gap exists now, but it lives in one place only. A screen nobody else looks at. On the surface, you and your friends are identical. You drive the same kind of car, wear the same kind of clothes, sit at the same bar on the same Friday. But Reese got a raise and bought a truck, $64,000 financed over 7 years. And the truck is genuinely beautiful, and he is genuinely happy. And his net worth went down the day he drove it home. Yours went up that month, because you got the same raise and changed nothing. Your rent climbed $120 at renewal. That was the only thing about your life that moved. You cook most nights. You keep the old car. Your friends start making a joke about you being cheap, and you let them, because correcting them would mean explaining a thing you don't have words for yet. Your savings rate is 34%. Theirs is whatever survives the truck, the lease, the apartment with the rooftop. You buy 3 boring index funds on the same day every month, and you never look at them between purchases. You don't trade. You don't chase anything. Your net worth crosses $60,000 for the first time, and you tell no one. There is nothing to tell. A number on a screen is not a story you can carry into a bar. Sam is the exception. Sam wants it faster than you do, louder than you do. Sam texts the group at midnight about a coin that's going to 10x, about a flip, about a business that only needs a little runway. Sam is doing exactly what the whole internet says getting rich looks like. And for about a year, Sam looks right and you look slow. He posts the gains. You post nothing. Then the coin does what coins do. And the flip needs more money than the flip will ever return. And the business closes in its 8th month. Sam goes quiet in the chat. You keep buying the same 3 funds on the same day. The difference between you and Sam was never courage. It was that you were willing to be bored for 19 years, and he was not willing to be bored for one. You are 29, and everyone is getting married. Reese first, in a venue that costs more than the truck. You are a groomsman. You stand up there in a suit that matches 4 other suits, and you are happy for him in a way that is completely real. At the reception, the table next to yours talks about the wedding loan, $18,000 at 11%, paid down over the next few years if nothing goes wrong. And you nod, and you do not say that you could write a check for all of it and not feel the weekend change. You order water with dinner. You are not the only one who does, but you are the only one doing it on purpose. The group chat changes that year. It used to be about plans. Now it is quietly about money, the way it always is when people are stretched and won't say the word. Someone floats splitting a trip and goes silent when the total lands. A flight comes up and one of you drops out with a joke about being broke that isn't a joke. You start covering small things without making it a thing. A dinner here, a tank of gas there, an extra room so nobody has to do the math at the front desk. Because it is easier than watching someone do the math you stopped having to do years ago. Nobody notices the pattern. You make sure nobody notices the pattern. That is its own kind of work, and you have gotten good at it. You are 33. There is a reunion. The loose kind, a backyard and a cooler, and the 6 of you in one place for the first time in years. The photo comes up on someone's phone, passed around, laughed at. The haircuts, the sun, and standing in that backyard, you can feel for the first time that the gap is no longer something you could close by trying. It is hardened into something structural. Compounding did that. Not effort, not income, not talent. Time applied to a decision made on a couch 11 years ago, working every single day whether you thought about it or not. They could each start tonight, save like you saved, and never catch the head start. The 11 years are not for sale. That is the quiet violence of the math. It does not care who is more capable. It only cares who began. You have learned the rules of the gap by now. You do not bring up money. If someone asks what you do, you keep the answer flat. When the conversation turns to the price of things, you complain a little, just enough, downward, so you sound like everyone else at the cooler. You have become fluent in pretending to feel a squeeze you stopped feeling a long time ago. It is not a lie exactly. It is a translation. The truth has no place to land in this backyard, so you don't set it down. Your net worth is past $400,000. The median across your friends is closer to 0, 2 of them under it. You are standing 3 feet from people who knew you before any of this existed, and there is now a fact about you they cannot see and you will not show them. That is the part the calculator never mentioned. It told you what you would have. It never told you what it would cost to have it among the people you grew up with. You are 37 when Reese calls. Not a text, a call, which is how you know before he says anything. The truck is long gone. There was a stretch of bad luck stacked on a thin margin. A job that ended without warning, a medical bill, then a second one that came while he was still arguing with the first. He needs $11,000, and he hates that he is asking, and you can hear exactly how much he hates it in the half second before he gets the number out. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. You tell him it's nothing, take your time, no rush, no interest, and you mean every word. You send it that afternoon, and when you hang up, you sit in your car in a parking lot for a minute, and what you feel is not pride. It is closer to grief. Because the kid in the middle of the photo, the one everyone bet on, the one nobody alive would have bet against, just had to ask the quiet one near the edge for money to make it through the spring. The gap was never a referendum on who deserved it. That is the thing nobody tells you when they sell you the dream of getting ahead. It was never about who you were. It was arithmetic that started on a Tuesday and never once stopped to ask anybody's permission. You make more now, but the income was never the engine, and you have always known that. Your money earns its own money. The portfolio throws off more in a flat year than your first salary ever paid. And it does it while you sleep, while you drive, while you stand in backyards performing a squeeze you don't feel. Reese will spend the next several years climbing back to zero. And zero is where you stood together at 22. Except you have not been near zero in 15 years. You crossed into the part where it grows faster than you can reasonably spend it. And the distance between his climb and your drift is not effort and never was. It is just years that already happened and cannot be returned to him at any price. You are 41. By the only measure that ever gets printed on a screen, you are rich. And you arrived faster than every single person in that photo. None of them know the number. You have spent 2 decades making sure of it. You could stop working tomorrow and nothing about the math would flinch. You don't, not yet, because the strange secret of arriving early is that the day is quieter than you imagined it would be. There is no parade. There is no version of this where you walk back into the old parking lot and the 6 of you understand it together, the way you understood everything together once, the heat and the photo and the same sun. What you have is the word no. You can say it to a boss, to a bad year, to a demand on your time, and the word costs you nothing, and almost nobody you grew up with can say it the way you can. What you do not have is the thing you had in the photo, the ease of being exactly the same as the people standing next to you. You traded it. You didn't know you were trading it on the couch at 22, but you were. To pull ahead is, in the end, only another way of saying you pulled away. And the 2 motions are the same motion seen from different sides. Some Sundays you drive past the old lot. It is smaller than you remember. The cooler crowd has scattered into mortgages and second shifts and group chats that have gone mostly silent. You do not stop the car. You just slow down a little, and then you keep going, which is the only thing you have ever really done. The photo is still in the drawer. 6 of you squinting into the same sun, none of you knowing. Reese in the middle, because Reese was always in the middle. You near the edge, the one nobody would have put $1 on. From inside the frame, there is no gap. There never was, not yet. The gap was a decision none of them could watch you make, and that you could barely watch yourself make. A number typed twice into a calculator on a Tuesday night because you were certain the first answer was a mistake. It was not a mistake. You got rich faster than everyone you grew up with for a reason that fits in a single sentence and explains nothing about who any of you actually are. You started earlier, and then you simply did not stop. They had the same parking lot, the same paycheck, the same sun. They spent their Tuesday nights the way most people spend them, and you spent one of yours differently. And the difference compounded for 19 years into a distance no reunion will ever close. You are the same person standing in that photo. You always were. The math just decided to happen to you first.